The content of our video and the titles to be examined are as follows. 1. What is a node? 2. What are the types of nodes? 3. What is the importance of installing a node and why is it necessary? 4. What is the place of nodes in future updates waiting for us? 5. My final words. 1. What is a node? You get the amount of money in your bank account, the information of the money transfers you view from your phone, how much money you have sent to whom or how much money you have received from whom, that is, the data of these transfers or amounts from the database of the bank. The device in your hand does not download the information of these data transfers to your device. It reflects the data in the bank to you. Therefore, you trust this database of the bank. In case of a change in this database in the bank, for example, in case of a hack or mistake, you will have $1,000 instead of $10,000. You call the bank and ask for it to be corrected, and in order not to damage the bank's reliability, it makes this correction in its own database and your balance is corrected. Here you trust the bank and therefore everyone looks for a safe bank. Because nobody wants to waste their money. In this example, the bank's security is measured by the protection of this database. The database here belongs to the bank. Maybe this database has various backups by the bank against attacks or errors, but it is the bank's responsibility to change/not change this database. You cannot make changes to this database. Because the authority is gathered in a single reliable person, bank. If this trust is broken, for example, if the bank cannot maintain this database or changes it itself, you will not do business with this bank again, the bank will lose customers and money. Therefore, in order for the bank to continue its business and make a profit, it must protect this database. The example of the bank above and the image above belong to a centralized structure. In fact, this technology, which we call DLT and the most famous of which is blockchain, is nothing more than the idea of distributing the database in the bank to many people. So what do we do for a decentralized system? The answer is actually very simple. If we can ensure that anyone can download this database of the bank, that anyone can follow it, and that anyone can become this database, we will have a decentralized system. The logic of Bitcoin, which entered our lives in 2008, is completely based on a decentralized system where everyone can become a database. In this system where everyone can have a database, the people/devices that keep the records of these databases are called nodes. The word node is sometimes used as a node. Node and node are the same thing. The word node is the Turkish version of node. This is very important information. We should learn two things from these sentences. How decentralized a decentralized system actually is related to how many databases there are. The more databases there are, the more decentralized that system is. If there is only one of these databases, it means that this system is no different from a classical bank database. Bitcoin or other blockchain technologies, we'll get to that later, allow us to be our database. While the database is only a bank in the system in the bank, in systems such as Bitcoin, we can become a database whenever we want without needing anyone's permission. Let's integrate these two items into our own crypto terminology now. In the first item, the high number of nodes and the ease of installation of these nodes are directly related to the decentralization of that blockchain. If a node cannot be established without convenience on a blockchain or if it has difficult to keep it open after the node was established, it means that the blockchain is decentralized. We will open this later. In the second item, the fact that no one's permission is needed is related to how permissionless that blockchain is. Yes, it may be extremely easy to install a node on the blockchain, but if the node installation requirements are met, if permission is requested to install a node on that blockchain, there is a serious decentralization vulnerability in that blockchain. In other words, no matter how easy it is to set up a node in the blockchain, which allows only 100 people to set up nodes, only these 100 people will check all the information, since no more than 100 people will participate in this system. The most critical and most important sentence coming to you to know in the crypto, please pay attention here. In an ideal blockchain, it should be extremely easy and fast to install nodes. Also, everyone should install a node as they want without permission. Remember, the much difficult to install a node in a blockchain, decentralized the blockchain is. So far we have learned, nodes collect all transaction traffic in the bank, amounts in accounts, etc. It is the equivalent of databases holding information such as blockchains. So what are the other functions of the node? Let's get another very important sentence, can use a blockchain, can trade on that blockchain, mining NFT, send token etc. It is necessary and conditional to set node for operations. Let's pay attention to the image above again. Bitcoin nodes communicate among themselves, make their transfers among themselves, and they all download and store these transfer data and balances. How? I do these things from my wallet application, or I seem to hear you say that I have installed a node. No, if you are not setting up a node, only if you have a wallet, this wallet goes and connects to a Bitcoin node. It says trust this node, send this transaction to the Bitcoin network. Let's pay attention to the image. You can think of Bitcoin or other blockchains like computer programs. The situation is the same for Bitcoin or other blockchains, just as you need to download and install existing programs on your computer to play a game on your computer, to operate in an application. If you do not install this program, but only access it from the wallet application, this application trusts a node and makes the transactions you want through this node. Let's gather the title of what is node. Node, that is, node in Turkish, they are components that contain data that anyone can install and participate in, instead of a single database in central systems, where transfer information in blockchains, assets in wallets, in short, all kinds of movements within the blockchain network are recorded. We will touch on the differences in different node types that enable us to use blockchains or connect our wallets and make transactions in the blockchain. 2. What are the types of nodes? Now the part up to this point was purely literature knowledge. We explained what nodes are. In this section, I have classified the nodes myself. It's not faulty, but someone else might classify it in another way. However, since my classification method is one that is accepted by many of the people who are interested in blockchain, I recommend you to learn it this way. 2.1 Archive nodes. Archive node is a huge archive in its name. In a system, the archive is where any information is available. Archive nodes are no different from the perspective of blockchain. The archive node is the node that contains everything in that blockchain. We said that nodes are databases. Archive nodes are nodes that download and contain everything on the blockchain, from the first block of the blockchain, Genesis block, to the last block. Blocks keep coming and will come forever. For example, on May 27, 2017, at 1823, who made which transfer, where and what, it is necessary to set up an archive node to see the exact time and all the data of the NFTs you have minted to your lover. For example, the total size of all events, all transfers, NFTs, in short everything on the Ethereum blockchain from block 0 to the present, is 10 to 11 terabytes, and this will gradually increase as the transaction is carried out. If you want to see who did what on the Ethereum blockchain 5 years ago at this very moment, you must install an archive node. You get this information from Etherscan, right? Yes, because Etherscan is actually an archive node. The sites we call Explorer, which allow us to follow all the movements on the blockchain, Etherscan, PolygonScan, Blockchair, etc., are all places that run archive nodes and share this data with you on their own websites. Suppose the Etherscan archive node is offline, so the guys at Etherscan should unplug this node. Remember, these are computers too. Etherscan will no longer show newly arrived blocks. 2.2 Full, non-consensus, nodes. Now, without going into the subject of full node, it is necessary to open a parenthesis to the difference between the archive node and the full node above. If you ask someone who is interested in Bitcoin blockchain today, what is the difference between archive node and full node, they will both say the same. Bitcoin full node is just like the archive node I described above. There is a terminological difference between communities. The word full actually means downloading the necessary data. Let's elaborate on the reasons for this difference. In order to understand full node, first of all, it is necessary to know two terminologies very well. Blockchain history. Blockchain state. Blockchain history, in its name, means the entire history of that blockchain. Remember the archive node above. The archive node was downloading everything in all blockchain history. Blockchain state is actually a new terminology. State means the part where the wallets, smart contracts, and the necessary information for security are located in the immediate blockchain. Here is the difference: full nodes keep the required part, blockchain state, when they do not hold the blockchain date. In even simpler language, since we said in the header that it is necessary to install a node to use the blockchain, there is no need to download the entire blockchain to use the blockchain, as is the case with archive nodes. In other words, there is no need to know the transfer at 12.35, 4 years ago. A full node is a node in the blockchain that trims unnecessary date information and keeps the necessary parts. The Ethereum full node is approximately 725 gigabytes. In other words, in order to run a full node on Ethereum, it is necessary to download 725 gigabytes of data. This amount of data will increase as blocks come out, just like archive nodes. The reason why full nodes keep so little data is the mechanism called pruning. With this system, which is also known as pruning in Turkish, the unnecessary information kept by the archive node is pruned in order to establish a node. 2.3 Validator/miner, consensus, nodes. Before I move on to this topic, I must say this. I do not find it appropriate to call these nodes validator nodes. In fact, both archive nodes and full nodes are validators. They confirm the correctness of the incoming blocks on both nodes that I described above. I will explain what these mean in the heading Importance and Necessity of Nodes. As the title suggests, the miners in Bitcoin today or the Ethereum validators that will work with the POS system in the future are also nodes. In order to be a miner and a validator, it is necessary to establish a node. Again, if you want to interact with a blockchain, you must install node. I find it much more correct to call these node types consensus node. Consensus nodes participate in the consensus in that blockchain under the name. By joining the consensus, I mean, these nodes generate block. We will come to the details. But for now, that's enough to know. Whether a blockchain is generating blocks with POW or POS, it needs these consensus nodes for block generation. Another thing here is that a certain job is required for the production of blocks in blockchains. Therefore, if the consensus nodes are POW, electricity and CPU power, if POS, they require a certain amount of coins. Those who produce blocks that you know as validators are these consensus nodes. These nodes also have to download the state of the blockchain just like full nodes. Block generation does not have to download the history of the entire blockchain like archive nodes. 2.4 Light, SPV, nodes. Light nodes are very important. In fact, it is so important that in the next topic I will explain how critical these nodes are and that in the future these nodes will be at the center of blockchain security. First, let's listen to light nodes from Satoshi Nakamoto. Running a full node may not be the only way to verify transfers and payments on the blockchain, Satoshi says. Remember the information above, I said that actually full nodes also validate. We will come to this topic and continue after classifying the nodes. A person can only download the headers of the blocks and follow this chain. If a full node sees an error, this person who follows the chain can download that block and verify its accuracy. That person is the light node. In Satoshi's words, they are nodes called SPVs. Let's touch on an important point here. Light nodes rely on full nodes as can be seen from the above. They track full nodes. Actually, the word light comes from here. Light nodes do not download the entire blockchain like archive nodes, nor do they download the state of the blockchain like full nodes do. Like consensus nodes, they are not involved in block generation. Light nodes only download a tiny fraction of blocks and track information from full nodes. Therefore, you can install a light node by downloading a very small amount of data. Today, some wallet applications are light nodes. We will come to the importance of light nodes. Knowing this much is enough for now. 2.5 Stateless, statelessness, nodes. While describing full nodes and archive nodes, I said that the difference between them is blockchain history and blockchain state. Archival nodes download every data in blocks from block 0 to the present day, while full nodes only download blockchain state, where they need to verify blocks. The reason for this is actually simple. Since full nodes download less data, they are installed much faster than archive nodes. Stateless nodes are actually a concept that Vitalik Buterin introduced to the blockchain world in 2017 to 2018, which has just entered our lives. As the name suggests, stateless nodes do not download the state of the blockchain required to confirm blocks on blockchains. Stateless nodes do not exist in today's blockchain technology. They will appear in the future. These nodes also verify the accuracy of the blocks, just like full nodes. The question of how this validation system works without downloading the state of the blockchain may come to mind. Stateless nodes validate the state of the blockchain through zk-SNARKs. zk-SNARK technology transforms existing blockchain state into small proofs, turns them into witness data, and presents them to stateless nodes with zk proofs. We will explain why such a thing is done. Let's take those who say what is ZK technology and ZK snark to the article I wrote before. As Crypto Information World, I divided the nodes in the blockchain ecosystem into 5. There may be different approaches with different systematics. For example, there are approaches that separate full nodes as archive and prund. I repeat, this is my approach. However, I think it's easier to understand this way. Green-colored nodes in the image provide full security on the blockchain because they have the authority to verify the accuracy of incoming blocks. Consensus nodes only differ from them in that they have block generation abilities, which are called validator or miner nodes. Light nodes are yellow because they cannot confirm the correctness of the blocks on their own. If there is an error in the blocks, other nodes can warn the light nodes and make them download the blocks. We will come to this subject. 3. What is the importance of installing a node and why is it necessary? Yes, we have seen and learned many nodes. Now we come to the most chick part. What is the importance of node? And why is it necessary? Why do we even rule it? What benefit for us to establish a node? Let me tell you a beautiful story. You wake up on a Sunday morning. You had fun last night and fell asleep as soon as you got home. You didn't even check the price of your coins on the phone. You haven't even had a chance to access Twitter. As a Crypto Information World follower, you trusted Ethereum and even invested your money in ETH. However, none of you, including you, have set up a node on Ethereum. You say let's have a look at the ETH price on Sunday morning and you are faced with a 99.9% collapse. What's going on? Toby Kitty has made a definitive statement. You're probably saying there's a mistake. Crypto Information World stated that at exactly 3.50 on Saturday, 95% of all nodes, archive, validator/miner and non-consensus nodes, on Ethereum acted in partnership with various 3 papers and printed 500 million ETH on the network. He wrote that the printed ETHs are made rapidly in all DeFi protocols from Uniswap to USDT, USDC, DAI, the existing coins are converted to cash or swapped to other cryptocurrencies. He wrote that a very serious operation is going on to end. The Ethereum chain has been split. The 95% part created a chain that changed the rules according to their minds. Even Etherscan, archive node, Ethermine, miner/validator consensus node, Vitalik Buterin's masternode, full node, made this coordinated attack. The end. There is nothing you can do here. Because you trusted the people above, these guys suddenly made changes to these databases on the blockchain, print money from the air and take everything they have from you. So what would happen if we imagine an Ethereum where everyone builds nodes? Let's say we all set up nodes. There is an archive node in Crypto Information World, you have set up a full node, even honest miners in the Blockland Discord group have created their own mining pool. However, let the industry's biggest Ethermine, miner node, and Etherscan, archive node, make the same attack. In this case, even if 500 million air-printed ETH produced by Ethermine were seen on Etherscan, our nodes would not accept them, would consider them as invalid state, remember blockchain state, and completely ignore them. Even though there were 500 million ETH in Etherscan, Crypto Information World would immediately share its archive node with you, and continue the chain, which is honest, with nothing. Ethermine miners would burn electricity for nothing, slashing mechanism would kick in POS and everyone who attacked would lose all their ETH, they would not be able to change the rules in the chain, other miners would immediately go to other mining pools, other miner nodes. We wouldn't be using Etherscan either. In other words, if everyone established nodes, these people would be in the minority and would not be able to make this attack. Etherscan and Ethermine. You are fucked by Ethereum community. Let's go back to the beginning of the article. We talked about the database that banks manage alone. Blockchains are the same. If the number of people who set up nodes is small, these people can make serious changes on the blockchain. The whole point of the blockchain is based on the principle that these databases can be downloaded by anyone. So a blockchain is secure as anyone can download and install these databases. This is where the power of Bitcoin or Ethereum comes from. Because anyone can install these nodes. We will touch on the difference with other chains. Don't trust, verify motto comes from here. Confirming the accuracy of the data in the blockchain is only possible by establishing a node. We come to another important point. When miners or stackers attack 51%. The claim that miners can make changes to the chain if they gain the majority, even more misunderstood. For example, in POS systems, the fallacy that the majority of validators manage the chain. We learned, let's answer. Are not miner and validators also nodes? Are these nodes participating in the consensus and generating block? If these guys are 3 dealers, the other nodes don't collect pairs. It is ignoring these blocks. Let's say Bitcoin miners have taken over 51% of the system. So 51% of consensus nodes are trio, then they can do 2 things to the system. They stop block printing. They can double spend the blocks they press. You can read this section about miners. I will not describe double spending. In the first case, if block printing stops, the blockchain stops. They cannot change the rules in the blockchain. In the latter case, if these miner nodes double spend, other non-consensus full nodes will ignore these blocks, so miners or validators cannot break the blockchain. The image below is from Bitcoin Core's codebase. The line, any transaction validation failure in connect block is a block consensus failure, says, the error in these blocks is a consensus error. So they cannot change the blockchain. This information is very important. So whether you are a miner or a validator, you are protecting the system. The nodes we call validator or miner make money from block rewards, for example 32 ETH is required in Ethereum or an ASIC device is required in Bitcoin. However, non-consensus full nodes protect the system and are extremely important for decentralization. It is not even important, it is essential. In a POS system, 3 paper consensus validator nodes will be noticed by non-consensus full nodes and will run the penalty mechanism. Crypto information world stop there. Taproot update in Bitcoin has been with miners. You can't failed US. I don't want to go into how to fork a blockchain, but we need to talk about Bitcoin. The Bitcoin blockchain can be forked in 2 ways. So is Ethereum. User-activated soft fork, UASF. Miner-activated soft fork, MASF. UASF, forking that occurs with the update of all nodes in the system. To make it clearer, these databases update themselves, change various rules, and the chain follows new rules after a determined block. Archive, consensus, and non-consensus nodes update. MASF, this is where consensus nodes change the system, which is true. Miners can change the system, but a minimum quota of 90% is required. If there is no objection by other nodes after a certain period of time, depending on the protocol, after this quota is passed, the system changes. If the MASF here is malicious, other nodes in the system can leave the chain digged by bad miners with a UASF and make a separate fork. I mean, blockchain will say what the nodes say. A blockchain POW, POS, POA, Casper, Tendermint etc. does not protect. You protect a blockchain. A loved man protects that blockchain. But you must establish node to protect. We get it bro, it is very important to set up a node. We understand enough. Decentralization and all that. Well, okay, don't praise me bro, give me money. What will happen when I set up a node? What do I gain from this business? I understood the benefit of installing a node to the system, but what is the benefit for me? We come to the benefit of the nodes for us. First of all, to the benefit of the consensus nodes. As you know, the so-called staking rewards are the rewards that consensus nodes get from block production or approval of transfers. If you want to set up a consensus node in Bitcoin, you must have miner devices. Because it works with POW and requires devices for block generation. After obtaining these devices, you either set up your own node, which is called solo mining, you both validate the blocks and try to add new blocks. In this system, which we call solo, only because finding blocks depends on luck, miners generally enter mining pools to increase their chances of finding blocks. The logic of these mining pools is very simple. There is only one node in the middle, everyone connects their device to this node. This much. As this node finds blocks, it distributes the rewards to device owners, regardless of how many devices they have connected. There is no difference in POS systems either. Ethereum POS requires a certain amount of ETH instead of a POW device. This ETH number is 32. If you have 32 ETH, you will set up a node in your home and put these 32 ETH on your node, and your node will now start producing blocks. In Casper FFG plus LMD Ghost, there is not only production, there is also a case of approval of blocks, so you will earn ETH. A question may come, I did not set up a node in Solana, but I have SOL and I am staking. How is this? This logic is like the mining pool above. You give your SOLs to a man who runs a node, who gives you a share as he finds blocks. That's the thing. You're not running a node, you're still relying on a guy running a node. This system is called the delegation system, so there is no delegation system in Ethereum POS. Ethereum encourages everyone to set up a node. If you have less than 32 ETH, third-party DeFi applications take them from you, combine them with others, complete them to 32 ETH and set up nodes. But if you say I want TO install node, you need 32 ETH. My brother, I don't have money, I can't set up a validator node. If I set up a non-consensus node, what will I do for myself, apart from decentralization to the system? Answer: IT has a lot of benefits. Let's write it one by one and open them all. Your assets will be much safer. It provides great privacy. It acts as a shield against censors. You have fun and loyalty. Their assets are much more secure. How come? I'm using Ledger, my assets are not safe. No, it is not. If every wallet you use does not install a full node, the wallet application depends on its own non-consensus full node. So you trust this node. MetaMask, connected to Infura. Electrum Wallet, connected to ElectrumX server. When you send 1 ETH to Crypto Information World and sign, MetaMask transmits it to Infura. What if MetaMask is dishonest? What if he sends 1 ETH not to Crypto Information World, but to the wallet of the dishonest man who wet his toilet slippers? Do you read everything you sign? I don't think so. But if you set up a full node and handle your transactions from here, you're super safe. While making a transfer from your MetaMask, you connect to Infura's node and Infura knows everything about your IP number. Where was the privacy? Just as it knows your IP number, it also knows which wallets you have access to. You will need to use ExtraVPN. Do you trust these VPN services? If you don't have a node, you give all your cyber information to the guy who built the node. If you install a node, you won't need it. Above are the most famous node owner institutions/persons on the Ethereum network. For example, Infura, Alchemy, Flashbots. Well, I told you that the MetaMask wallet is directly linked to Infura. What if Infura pulls the plug? Answer: you won't be able to do anything. During a serious bear season, your ETHs are in your wallet and you want to sell them, Infura has crashed, what will you do? You have no choice but to wait for Infura to plug it back in. Or you will connect to another node. Everyone knows when there are collapses, when great places begin to collapse, others follow. But if you have a node, you connect your MetaMask wallet to your node and make transactions. In addition, because people do not have nodes in such crashes, network traffic drops drastically and gas becomes cheap. You are trading cheap. Get a direct monetary return. Another thing is the latency situation. Your computer in Turkey, for example, connects to the service provider in the United States and then to the Infura node. There is a waste of time here. If you have your own node in your own home, your transactions will be much faster. Fun. What about your loyalty debt? Setting up a node is a lot of fun and almost inexpensive. We will come to the free part. Any transfer made on that blockchain is approved by your node and your node records these transfers. You see all kinds of activity on that blockchain. Extremely easy and effortless to set up. Why don't you install it? The following nice node can set up a node even for people who are far from technology with one click. If you want to feel like a hacker, you can also install it with the CLI smiley face. So what about your loyalty debt? Satoshi Nakamoto made Bitcoin and entrusted it to us. To all of us. Don't you feel that you owe anything to this system that will go away forever as the nodes are built and the nodes are honest? Or fearing the interventions of the states, asking for decentralization, and why don't you take responsibility? How can anyone shut down a system where everyone can install nodes? Not possible. However, if 2 to 3 people set up a node, that system will be shut down easily. Okay, enough of Crypto Information World. I'm convinced. I'm going to make a promise node. I hope so. 4. What is the place of nodes in future updates? So far, we have learned about nodes, learned their types, learned their contributions to the system and to us. We got almost everything done. We need to get back to technology so I can give you some more blockchain knowledge. Blockchains cannot be both decentralized and secure and scale. That famous trilemma. You all know. So why do we say such a thing? Let's explain it with our node information above and discuss what we can do in the future. What we said, go back to the beginning of the article. Blockchains are distributed databases. For a blockchain to be fast, or rather to handle a lot of transactions, more transaction registration must be distributed to the nodes. Look, this sentence is critical. In other words, if a blockchain makes more transactions, these nodes are full. Nodes are filling. The Ethereum archive node has exceeded 10 terabytes. It will gradually increase. Full nodes are growing in the same way. We prune, but it's not enough. They're increasing. The man who built a Bitcoin node from scratch 3 years ago and the man who built a Bitcoin node today do not set up a node at the same time. It's getting harder and harder to set up nodes. Blockchains are increasingly centralized. We have to solve this. There are projects that brag about forking Ethereum and printing blocks as fast as an engine, printing big blocks, and you take these shitcoins and say, look, they did what Ethereum could not do, my transfers are extremely fast and cheap. This is the technology of the future. As long as these shitcoins keep blocking at this rate, we will not found a node and a few people will left node. Why is Ethereum not printing big block and driving transaction fees? It's because of these growing nodes. If we do the cheap process, the node is not established, the system is centralized because only a few people can do the business of installing the node. Let's give an example now. Hardware required to set up a Bitcoin full node. 500 gigabytes SSD or HDD, 1 terabyte is enough for many years, remember they are growing. 50 kilobits per second internet speed. This is enough to download 1 megabyte blocks in 10 minutes. 2 gigabytes RAM, to write these blocks to the computer. In summary, a Raspberry Pi computer and a tiny internet connection are enough. Now let's look at Solana. 256 gigabytes RAM. Minimum 2.8 GHz, 16 or 32 core CPU. 1 gigabit per second internet speed. 2 terabytes SSD, not HDD, blocks very fast. In short, finding great consensus mechanisms and printing huge blocks is not a good technology. You become shitcoin. Now we have to work this out. We have to solve. Coming to the benefits of beans. Let's look again at the tree I drew for the nodes above. Now, as the blockchain grows, even if we prune, full nodes, archive nodes, consensus nodes are growing. Well, we need to find other ways to approve this blockchain, with stateless nodes that will come with statelessness, light nodes. Light nodes are very important, let's start with those first. We said that light nodes download a very small part of the blocks and do not participate in the validation process. If the odd-numbered full nodes see a skew, they tell it to the light nodes, and the light nodes download and check the skewed block. Well, can't we add controllability to these light nodes? Data availability sampling joins the chat. If we add the ability to approve blocks in some way to these light nodes, people will not have to download full nodes, they will install light node even from their mobile phone and approve blocks on the blockchain. I need to sit down and write at least as much as this article to explain DAS, but let's summarize the system in the shortest way possible. Let's sampling these data, remember, they were database, that the full nodes hold into tiny parts, sampling, let the light nodes verify these pieces, if there is a mistake, the light nodes will punish this mistake. Yes, that's roughly it. However, it is so important that full nodes will not be needed to verify the blockchain, light nodes will be able to verify the blockchain. Since everyone can easily install these clients on their mobile phones and even on their home toasters, the blockchain will become legendary decentralized. That's it. DAS is an extremely complex topic, it will perhaps take years to enter the blockchain ecosystem. But it is the end of scaling. Ethereum DAS is trying to solve with danksharding and this tiny data with KZG commitments, ZK snark. Apart from that, Celestia is among the projects dealing with DAS, this DAS is with fraud proofs. That's enough, don't get distracted. The other issue is statelessness nodes. Statelessness nodes are node types that are still on paper, downloading about 1 to 3 megabytes and trying to validate the entire Ethereum blockchain. Statelessness is a legendary update. Together with DAS, it constitutes one of the most important milestones in the scaling of Ethereum. These nodes do not hold state, as I explained above. The only handicap of these nodes is that they do not hold anything, so they require more internet connection than full nodes to download a lot of witness data. Well, I understand statelessness and light client. Yahoo! I want to set up archive nodes, or if the full node gets too big, will we not be able to install these nodes in the coming years? The archive node has to download the whole blockchain history, everything. You will download it, there is no escape. However, we can reduce the data to be downloaded. In other words, we can replace existing data with systems that take up a smaller space. We call this update Merkle tree diagram. Let's not take too long. Transfers in the blockchain are stored in a data tree called Merkle. When we replace these tree structures with a tree structure called Merkle tree, we save a lot of space. Now, if we make a calculation based on all of the current updates, especially for Ethereum, let's list the amount of data that future nodes will download and the internet connection requirement. Light nodes, light clients, 5 kilobytes of data will be downloaded. 1 kilobyte internet required per block. Security, close to full nodes, but at least half of the light nodes must be correct for sample safety. Stateless nodes, about 1 megabyte of data will be downloaded. 500 kilobytes of internet is required per block. Security, up to full node. Full nodes, consensus/non-consensus, up to 50 gigabytes of data will be downloaded. 100 kilobytes of internet is required per block. Security, full. Archive nodes, up to 3 terabytes of data will be downloaded. 100 kilobytes of internet is required per block. Security, full. So what else can be done? Mina Protocol joined the chat. Mina Protocol says, we understand that no matter what update comes, these blockchains continue to grow. If we zksnarks the state of the blockchain, remember I wrote the state above, we will greatly reduce its size and require very little space to set up a full node. In this way, anyone can easily set up a full node. Here is the zksnarkization of the state of the Mina blockchain is about 22 KB. Downloading this state is enough to set up a full node. Look, I said full node. Tabi, if you say you want to set up an archive node on Mina Protocol, download slave. It's not 22 KB. 22 KB is valid for full node only. 5. My last words. Blockchains in my dreams are not blockchains consisting of 15,000 odd nodes, as established on Ethereum. If we're talking about real blockchain decentralization, it's a comedy number. My dream is a utopia where everyone can install a node from their phone, everyone can run their own wallet with their own node, and can approve the light client installed on their phone while buying coffee with cryptocurrencies. How many nodes, so much decentralization, so true blockchain and the spirit of Satoshi Nakamoto. Although these are dreams, I believe that they will come true in the future. In this dream, No1, any state, any institution or organization will be able to ban, censor, and obey and adapt to this technology. But we should not expect DAS, statelessness. It is still a question mark when these technologies will be put into practice. That's why we must install node and install full node. Setting up cost-free full nodes, at least on highly decentralized chains like Bitcoin or Ethereum, should be the first goal for us, crypto lovers. While ending the article here, I will write an additional article in my next blog post where I will compare full node installation, details for full node installation, and full node performances. In this way, we attract people's attention and show everyone decentralization in reality, not in words. Best regards, I am Crypto Information World. Install node.